Hello. In today's video, we'll be going over query parameters within Visual DB. So let's get right into it. So right now we're looking at an employee form where we have a bunch of different information about different employees that we might have. So we see like their salary, what their name is, date of birth, social security number, all this information we can put in here. Now, one issue you might run into is as you have more and more records to look through, you might want to have a way to search specifically for what you're looking for. So there is a way that we can do that, and it is through query parameters. So let's go back and let's go to the queries tab and let's open up the query that we made this form with. So it's called employee query. And we'll see it looks like a normal query, but we'll see lower down here, we can add a new condition. And basically with this new condition, we are creating parameters on our query. So the first part of a query parameter is the field. So what are we searching on, basically? So we'll see all the different fields that are in the table that we're querying. So for example, we can search by last name. So let's do that. Next is our operator, or basically how we want to match. So it could be equal to, is not equal to, so whatever is being entered or being searched is one of, starts with, contains. So I'm going to choose starts with, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and prompt the user for value. So what this will do is this will allow us to change what we're searching for on the fly, which is useful instead of having some static value that we have to go back and change, right? So let's see what that looks like. Let's press OK and go back to the form we were working on. Now we'll see in the top left, it says last name. And basically with this, if we search up somebody's name and fetch it, we'll be able to see it here and be able to edit or do whatever we want. If there were multiple matching records, we could iterate through them, but in this case, we're only matching one. So let's go back and let's add some more complicated query parameters now that we have that under control. So if we go in and we add a new condition, let's add under the field of a job. And let's say it's equal to, and then let's allow the user to provide their own value. And one thing I'm going to do here is select records where all of the following apply. This is important. Generally, you want to choose all because if it's any, what it will do is match. If, for example, the last name matches, but the job doesn't match, it will still return that. It's only doing any, if any of these parameters match. You probably want all because if you enter a last name and a job, you want both to be matched, not just one or the other. So we're going to make this all, especially when we're adding multiple different query parameters. So let's press OK. And another detail that we can add here is if we go over to configure prompts and go over to our job, there are only a certain amount of job titles that are available. So what we can do is add available values. So let's get it from a database table. Let's choose our table. We are using employee 3 for our query. And then we are going to have a value column of job because this is the job query parameter. And let's press OK. And now let's go back to form and see how that adds together. So if we go back to our employee form, up here we have our job entry and then our last name entry. So because we added available values, we have this drop down that's available. So if we wanted to search for a clerk, we can fetch it. Now, one thing you'll notice is that I didn't enter anything into last name. And if you don't enter anything into a specific query parameter, it's going to not count that as a query parameter. It will just search on the query parameters that have a non-empty value in them. So we'll see here, we get Adam Smith, but we'll notice we got multiple different records that match our query that we made. So we'll see here Scott Adams, James Clark, and all their information. If we decide to add in a last name like Smith and then fetch, we'll see now we only have one record because both have to be true because we click the all option in our query parameter menu. So there is query parameters in Visual DB. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.